What's up, guys, and welcome back for another Diablo 3 video. This is going to be over leveling, really, in the kind of seasonal environment, right? So, you see leveling videos, leveling guides for every season. For the most part, it doesn't change a whole lot. The only reason it might change would be if the seasonal journey or the seasonal benefit would affect early leveling, which really hasn't been the case for a while now. So, in this video, I'm going to kind of walk through my process of leveling. This can work for any class, but I will be kind of showcasing this on a Demon Hunter and talking about like kind of the milestones you want to hit while you're on your way to 70. And this is stuff you can use in every season, even if you have a seasonal benefit that would increase the leveling process. And I'm talking about things like, when you should stop using, XP gear, and at what levels you should be, going after and hunting for certain things with the cube, right? I'm going to try like be as detailed as I can, and hopefully it'll give you a good idea of how to approach leveling in a new season. Obviously, like leveling a non-seasonal character or a secondary character is much different because you have access to things like the Gem of Ease, and you can kind of farm with blood shards. This is more or less aimed for that very, very first character that you roll in a season. The first thing that you've heard, and it's still true, right? The first thing you should do when logging in is grabbing your follower's weapon. And for a Demon Hunter, at least, I go Scoundrel, and I will take his weapon, drop his on the ground, and then I'll usually just roll with the Enchantress. And this is because with the new follower update that happened several seasons ago, you can pretty much keep the Enchantress or any follower, at kind of a DPS equilibrium to you up to a certain point. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But like, you definitely want to get that follower weapon on your main character the first thing, right? And then you want to log out, right? When you log out, you want to be able to have saved your challenge rift, because seasons usually start on a Friday. And so that prior Monday challenge rift, you don't want to do, right? Because you can go back after the season starts, you can do the challenge rift, and then you can redeem that challenge rift cash on your new character. And what that's going to allow you to do is have a lot of resources to do a lot of tricks that I'll be talking about in this video. And if you don't have access to the challenge rift, it's not a big deal. It just means you have to grind a little bit harder, and you won't have as many benefits from the like 1 to 40 range for the most part. So after you grab your follower weapon, after you do your challenge rift, you'll log back in, you'll redeem it. You can start working on things like upgrading your vendors to a certain point and everything. The first thing I always do is I'll always go and get the cube first, because there's only two things you're really worried about while you're leveling to 70. You're worried about this number, your DPS number, which is like the only reason you'd ever really worry about this. Once you hit 70, it's all effective DPS. So while you're leveling, you want to kind of keep an eye on your damage output, and you want to be scaling this as you go up so that you don't have to change your difficulty down too much, right? And the goal is to start at normal. I start at normal, and then when I hit a certain point, which is around 100,000 DPS, I'll just lock in master, and I'll just run master for the rest of the time to 70. So like I said, you're worried about two things. You're worried about your damage number so that you're always scaling up while you're leveling. And also you're just worried about getting experience. It's the number one thing. So the reason I always start off with going for the cube is because you're going to need it. You're going to have to do it eventually. You might as well be the first thing you do. And, you're going to be going through the ruins of Secheron at a low level, so it won't be so bad. I mean, the Rat Kings might kind of annoy you a little bit, but once you have it done, you can kind of go to the next part. And usually the next part is going to be, rolling a level 70 weapon and then upgrading in the cube to try to get a cube power. So the character I'm showing you right now is actually the season 25 character I'm currently leveling. And what I did was I actually just went in here for any Demon Hunter. This will work. You just make a dagger, level 70 dagger. You will have to upgrade the artisan all the way to max level to do this, but you just make one of these, and then you have a 50-50 chance of getting Lord Greenstone's Fang or Carly's Point. For this character, I ended up getting Carly's Point, and then you have enough resources from doing the challenge rift to actually extract it and have that benefit. With that being said, with the Demon Hunter in particular, I basically was using Impale the entire time while leveling, but my main ability for the Demon Hunter was the Rapid Fire, right? Rapid fire is just going to clear things a little bit easier. You get earlier access to it. You can use Phantom Knives if you have Greenstone's Fang. Greenstone's Fang is actually a little bit better for like the 1 to 40. Carly's Point's also really decent, but if you do get a Carly's Point, you're pretty much going to be using it impaled for champion elites. Your main density killer is going to be that rapid fire. So the next thing I do after I have the cube and I've got it, you know, a level 70 weapon extracted and it's benefiting me in the cube, is I will just go and run boss events, boss chest events. And what that really means is, like, when you're opening up your map for the bounties, you're looking at things like kill Magda or kill Zoltan Kuhl. You're looking for bosses that are very quick to get to, and they're not very overly complicated. Like, for instance, Zoltan Kuhl is probably the best one. You literally don't fight anything from the waypoint to his portal. And so, you know, farming his chest event for bounties is great because you're going to be going after rare items, and that's really what your main focus is going to be. Magda's good too. She's a little bit of travel. Belial is okay. It's a timed fight, so that can be kind of obnoxious. And then for Act 1, Skeleton King is good. I usually... those are my big three: Skeleton King, Zoltan Kuhl, and Magda. For Act 3, you can go Asmodan. It's a little bit of a walk, but like I said, one of the big things you're worrying about is getting XP. So, you know, if you have to do a little bit of killing to get to it, fine. But the goal between like level 1 and level 16 is going to be just going after these boss chests. And this will give you a good stockpile of rare items to equip not just yourself, but also equip your follower with, in order to kind of set yourself up for that, level 16 to, like, 41 or 40 or 41 gap. Once you actually get to 16, you also have access to doing a lot of things, like getting a lot of usable legendaries from blood shards as well. So if you did the Challenger of Cash, you're going to be able to go for, possibly a decent quiver if you're a demon hunter, like maybe an offhand. Usually try to go for like things like boots or pants or gloves. Try to stay away from things like chest pieces because there's a lot in the pool. But you can just start kind of like at level 16, start targeting some stuff with the blood shards, which will help you just along the way. And once you've kind of gotten that, your next big push is going to be going from level 16 to level 21, right? Which is the next kind of goal. Once you hit 21, which after I hit 16 from doing boss chest, I'm kind of just locking myself into doing just normal Nephilim rifts for the remainder of my time to 70, and only stopping when I'm needing to do certain things at breakpoints. So when you hit 16, you can start looking at blood shard spending, and also you can go and get your damage rings and your damage amulets. So what you'll do is, for damage rings, you'll just go to each of the vendors that sells trinkets in every town, and you'll be looking for a damage range ring, which is just going to show up, as a damage range primary stat on this magical ring. They'll give you a little bit of a bump. At that point, you'll probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 200 DPS. And then you're basically just, doing nothing but just going back to the grind until you get to 21. Once you get to level 21, since your blacksmith is already maxed out, you're going to go to armor, and you're going to basically make Born's chest piece. You are chest piece and shoulders. So you'll go in here and see, where's his shoulders at? So these are going to be, you can use these at level 21. You only want to wear the 2 pieces so that you get a 20% experience boost. So it'll be the shoulders and it'll be the chest piece here, and you'll have these from the start. You find the pants in here. Then you can just go back to grinding again. Your next breakpoint, your next goal is hitting 23, which most of the time, to be honest, I'm not really stopping grinding until I actually hit 23, because I can just go make Borns and Canes at the same time. And also, depending on like what gear you found, kind of like from 1 to 23, you're going to have to kind of like shuffle around with Canes. I think that when I leveled this character, I went like gloves, boots, and then I want to say pants, right? But you want to get the 3-piece bonus for that as well. 3-piece set is going to give you 50. Born's 2-piece is going to give you 20%. So as you can see, you're starting to do pretty good. The other thing you're kind of looking for as well, and the one thing I would use probably blood shards first for, would be a helm, because you want Leoric's crown. Leoric's crown is something that you're going to need when you start getting rubies to drop, and you can plug those in. Those are going to give you experience boost as well. Once you have all that kind of set up, you're pretty much good to go for a while. One of the biggest things that you can either get lucky or unlucky with is going to be your level 70 weapon with the level reduction. So I got really lucky with this character. As you can see, I made this at like level 1 right after I got the cube and did the CR. One thing you could do at the beginning as well, because you can start working on it. It is going to take mats and it's going to take gold in order to keep kind of re-rolling it. So if it's starting to get really expensive on the gold on the re-roll, you definitely want to like kind of roll a different one. But the way this works is you want to find a weapon, you want to craft a weapon that's level 70, and you want a crowd control secondary. As you can see, this one has a immobilize on hit secondary, and then also life on hit. Now, with those two stats, you want to roll off the secondary stat that is not the crowd control, because this will give you the smallest pool of stats to roll for the level requirement reduction, which can roll anywhere between 1 to 30. I got really lucky with this one because it's 29. So what this did was it allowed me to use this level 70 weapon, which is a huge DPS boost, at 41. If you roll a perfect 30, you'll be able to use it at 40. So when I'm talking about like your goal, your gap from like 23 getting canes and borns to 40 or 41, which is going to be talking about being able to equip this. And you'll basically use this weapon that you create and roll for the remainder of your leveling 270. So you want to kind of work on that a little bit as well. But, you know, just kind of illustrate this a little bit. You don't want to, I think I rolled like 4 or 5 times in order to get this 29. But every time you roll a weapon in the Enchantress, the gold cost is going to go up. And it's going to like get crazy expensive really, really quick. So if you're not having very good luck on a certain particular weapon and the gold cost has gotten way too high, ditch the weapon, make a new one, and start rolling again, just so you're not, you know, wasting too much gold, because you're going to have a finite amount, because you're going to get like 4 million or so from the Challenger of Cash. So you really want to kind of like take it easy with it, because the last thing you want to do is like, you know, get to 40 or something and not have a 70 weapon in order to, you know, kind of push you the remainder of the way. Once you have that, and once you have Canes and Borns on, you're level 23, your next goal is to just go all the way to 55. You do nothing but just normal Nephilim rifts, grind it out, go all the way to 55. At 55 to 60, depending, is when you want to start actually taking off Borns and Canes. As you can see here, I actually ended level 70 with no XP gear on at all, because here's why. Once you hit 100,000 damage, you want to be on Master, right? You'll be able to do mostly everything that you need to in Nephilim rifts on Master with 100,000 DPS. Now, if I would have kept that level 23 and that 21 gear for experience, I would have probably had to drop the difficulty down to like hard, expert, or even back to normal, if just to keep those that XP bonus. So in my experience in the past, it's better to actually take the XP bonus off to maintain a master difficulty level and, you know, kind of a clear efficiency through the normal rifts. I think it's actually probably more beneficial for that. You're not going to notice a huge loss, because the thing is like if you have lower DPS but you have XP bonus, you're not going to be killing things that fast, so it's kind of cancels each other out. Another thing you want to be doing too, while you're going from like level 23 to 40 and from 40 to 70, all that stuff, is every time you upgrade gear, you want to make sure that you're upgrading your follower as well. As you can see here, she's actually got 142,000 damage, and I have 149,000, and we're at level 70 here. And what I did basically was every time I upgraded a piece of my gear, I would just upgrade her, right? And as you can see here, it'll show up on the screen if I roll over it, just like it would for me if I was comparing something. It'll show you if it, you know, is beneficial to her or not. And then by doing this, she actually maintains, you know, quite a relevancy in DPS output while you're doing the like 1 to 70 thing, and very, very important too. And also it's a seasonal objective, right, to fully equip her. But this is a huge benefit as well. Like before, this was not actually a possibility because the follower was just, you know, you could barely put anything on them. But since it can take a full set of gear, having a full set or even just rare gear, you know, trying to do well during the leveling process is actually, you know, been really beneficial since they came out with that. So once you hit 55, you've taken off Borns, you've replaced Borns, you replaced Canes, you're starting to actually like just min-max. You're constantly looking at drops, you're constantly upgrading your gear, and then kind of waterfalling that down to your follower. Really, it's just back to like the normal, the Nephilim rifts. Just keep grinding those, and you know, just with the way that the DPS and with the way the monster scaling goes, the closer you get to 70, the more longer it's going to take longer, so like your 65 to 70 is probably going to take the same amount of time as it took you to go from like 55 to 65, right? But as long as you're maintaining your gear and upgrading your gear and keeping an eye on your damage, and you're actually progressing, you're going to be just fine. You're not going to have survivability issues. You're not going to have situations that you just can't clear. It really is just about putting in the time at that point. It also just kind of sets you up good, because I have actually leveled to 70 while keeping Borns and Canes on the entire time. And then once I hit 70, I don't need Borns or Canes anymore, because, XP gear and just like XP gems and the helm will get a significant, drop in at level 70. I already was kind of like set up to go and push into that level 70 gear. As you can see here, like this gem, right? 35% experience, but if you're at level 70, it's 30.5, right? Which is a big reason why I stopped using Borns and Canes at around 55 or 60, just because I want to be able to have all my slots, at an equivalent level and scale efficiently by the time I hit 70, or else I'm just kind of starting behind, and I have to like keep I don't want to have to keep grinding master after I hit 70 just to like come up with rare items to replace those, just so I can get started on the journey stuff, right? And that'll take you all the way there. They'll take you all the way to 70. So just kind of recap, right? Follower weapon, CR. You want to upgrade. You want to get the cube. You want to make a level 70 weapon. You want to roll the highest amount of level reduction on it. And then at 16, you want to start fishing for legendaries with the blood shards, and also you want to look for your damage ring and amulet. And then at 21, you want to make Borns. At Canes, or at 23, you want to make Canes. At 55, you want to start filtering those out. You also want to be able to, keep your follower gear as well as yourself. And then just do Nephilim rifts, right? So it's basically like you start at level 1, you're doing the cube, you go to the cube, do boss chest until 16, and from 16 to 70, it's nothing but Nephilim rifts. So I do this every single season. Hopefully this, helps you guys in future seasons. And obviously, like I said, if any like seasonal theme or something makes leveling easier, it's only in addition to this. Like, you're still going to be doing all these neat little things every single season. And also it's just kind of a more of a planned way to do things. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.